listen, all right. I don't. I'm gonna. This is. I feel like I'm like about to enter into a place I don't want to venture, but I don't hate Florida State. But I'm not gonna lie. I got a bit. I got a bit of pleasure watching them lose on national television in a foreign nation this weekend. Like I gotta admit, it did make me laugh a little. Like it was to the point where it's like you were doing all this stuff. We were hearing all this news. Florida State's going to leave the conference. Florida State's going to, they're suing the ACC. They should have made the playoff last year. It was all because the playoff committee was biased against Florida State because they lost their quarterback and they would have been just as good without their quarterback. And so then we see this game where they have a new quarterback who is not the guy they had last year, DJ Uiagalelei, and they lost. They just lost. So, like, I mean, look, the stats obviously do not tell you the full story. DJU was fine on the stats, but you don't get a single touchdown passing, and all your touchdowns coming from the rush. I don't get it. I don't. This really changes things in the ACC for one, because now I'm living in the reality that like Florida State is not a lock to win this conference, and now we're talking all these other ACC teams. We're talking Miami's of the world. These even the Clemsons of the world. The ACC is not wide open, right? I mean, right now I got multi-view on. You got NC State up against West Carolina with those beautiful purple helmets. Wow, those are fantastic. That's incredible stuff. Anyway, like it is like an open conference, which makes things interesting for the playoffs. Like I think as far as like conferences where you're probably going to see the most interesting runs for who's going to win it. If I had to take a guess, I go with the ACC at this point, because I think for the Big Ten, you're looking at probably one, maybe two teams that are really going to win it. The SEC, I think it's Georgia's to lose. I really don't think there's any other team in that conference. I don't even know who's in the Big 12 anymore. So it's now the big like 5 or 6. Is SMU in the Big 12? No, they're in the ACC. That's right. I forgot. Southern Methodist is on the Atlantic coast. I guess Texas is at least on the Gulf of Mexico, which is the Atlantic Ocean. Gives you something there. I don't think are they gonna bring it? Are they gonna let in the Pac-2? Is Oregon State, if they win the Pac-2, are they in it? Anyway, look, for me, for narrative's sake, I just enjoyed watching Florida State lose. I thought it was interesting. I thought it's fun, and from an overall football standpoint, it does change the calculation with the ACC this year. It really, really does. Now, week one college football. I gotta say, this is probably one of the most loaded week ones as far as really interesting, really fun games this weekend, up to and including tonight. Like, in a very long time. Like, I usually, and I've said this before on the show, like early college football is such a waste of everybody's time, but everybody is dying for college football. So they're just like, whatever, I'll watch, Army take on Michigan. I don't care. It's going to be terrible. Nobody's going to have fun. Michigan's going to win by 1,000, but I'll put it on because I need to watch football. Like, no, this week we got plenty of really interesting games here. So starting it off, Colorado hosting North Dakota State. Look, Deion Sanders has been talking a lot of smack, which is in character for Coach Prime. But I don't think he has the ability to back it up. I really don't. They got a lot of talent on that Colorado team, but I just don't believe in Deion as a coach at this point. Like, he just seems like every stage of news when it comes to Deion Sanders, it's like new drama. It's, players calling out other players on social media, for being bad. It's Deion calling out reporters for, not putting Colorado, like Deion, your team won 4 games last year. You won as many games as MSU, and MSU didn't have a coach. Like we had basically, like, it was like a volunteer from the crowd coaching Michigan State last year, and you won as many games as the volunteer. So, look, this game tonight, I really don't see a world in which Colorado loses. But if they do lose, Dion, good luck, because I don't think it's going to last long. It's going to be at 8 o'clock on ESPN. That's going to be on the television for sure. As soon as they add that to the multi-view, because it's still about 30 or so minutes away from kickoff there. But I also got this game on Saturday here. Clemson, Georgia, noon, ABC. This is the probably going to be the first game. Well, not probably. Well, it could be the first game you watch of college football this year. It could be. I mean, depending on if you watch any of these games today and tomorrow. It's not going to be my first college football game. But Clemson, Georgia. I mean, like, Clemson's got a lot to prove, obviously. And now with the way the ACC has opened up, I think they're going to be all the more motivated to go out and try to perform here. Now, do I think they're going to win? No, I don't think they're going to win. But maybe they cover the spread. You know, that's at least that's something of a victory. You know, you cover the spread against Georgia. That's basically like you beat them. Like nowadays, that's basically like you beat. But realistically, part of my interest in this is that this could be a playoff matchup, and I say that just because, given the ACC, I think at this point is wide open. Clemson now sits in a situation where if they win the ACC, they're guaranteed to get in, right? That's my understanding of how this is supposed to work. So they win, they get in. I don't know how the seedings are going to operate, but it's possible that these two teams meet in the playoffs, and that's very interesting from a storyline perspective. You know, is what's his name, the coach at Clemson? Isn't it Dabo? Am I stupid? Roster? Does it include the coaching staff and the roster? Yeah, Dabo. Sometimes I get confused with some of these Southern coaches. Dabo Sweeney, you know, he's got a lot to prove. Obviously, not a fan of this transfer portal NIL stuff, and they've gone a little downhill basically since they won their last title. So I think it is a little bit of a proving ground. It feels like Dabo has reached his late Mark D'Antonio days. So maybe he's going to try to prove it or prove that he still got it. I don't know that he does, but could be a good game. Also at noon, here's an upset alert. You got Penn State at West Virginia. First of all, I've already told you, James Franklin is a moron. I hate James Franklin. He's terrible. All this guy does. This guy is like the epitome of a bronze medal in the Big Ten. Every year, I hear Penn State's going to be good. Penn State's going to win the Big Ten. People are sleeping on Penn State, and every year they are third in some facet, whether they're behind, you know, Ohio State, Michigan, and then it's Penn State, or whether it's Michigan State, Michigan, Penn State, or Michigan State, Ohio State. Basically, since like time immemorial, like they have always been the third. Like the only time that James Franklin won the Big Ten was, what was it, 2016 with Saquon, when Michigan was terrible. Michigan State was not all that good. They were like kind of in the downward spiral, and it was a down year for Ohio State. Like James Franklin has done nothing of note, and I'm not saying that West Virginia is going to go in and win, but it's in their house. It's noon. It's a big game. I'm just saying it could be an interesting game. Could be upset alert potentially. Anyway, moving along. We got a couple more games here. Miami, Florida. As far as just the aesthetics go, this is going to be a good game. 3:30. I was about to say 3:30 o'clock. 3:30 p.m. on ABC. Miami, again, this is another thing with the ACC. Now that it appears to be wide open, Miami's going to be all the more motivated to go into Florida here and try to pull off the win out in Gainesville. I don't think Florida is really going to be all that good, but again, it's at home. It's one of the most raucous crowds. Florida fans are nuts. I think that could be a really good game. Is that considered a rivalry? Is Miami, Florida considered a rivalry? I feel like it is. I'm going to call it a rivalry. Could be fun. Rivalry. That's always fun. Yeah, but especially given the fact with Florida State losing, again, it's similar to the Clemson-Georgia game, except in this case, Miami is probably favored to win this game. So that's going to be a game to watch. And then you got Notre Dame and Texas A&M, two top 25 opponents. Notre Dame, number 7 in the country, top 10 in the country. Texas A&M, number 20 in the country in College Station, 7:30 ABC. This is must-see TV for a myriad of reasons. Number one, Mike Elko, new head coach at Texas A&M. Maybe a new era of Texas A&M football. Maybe they actually deliver on the hype that they seem to always promise. On the other side of it, Marcus Freeman, Notre Dame. It's a weird spot that they find themselves in given the new college football playoff situation and how seedings work. Like, they're not in a conference. Is this going to benefit them as far as playoffs go? Because obviously winning a conference is what gets you a guaranteed spot, and they don't have that chance. So they just got to get in on their own merits. So if you're Notre Dame, look, as far as I'm concerned, this is a must win. Like, if you lose this game, your shots in the playoffs could severely dip. Not like, they're gone, but they could very well be in a much worse spot. So that's Saturday. And then Sunday night. Oh, Sunday night. We still have college football because NFL hasn't started, so they have no competition. 7:30 on ABC, USC at LSU. Look, assuming both teams didn't get new defenses, this just could be a very high-scoring game. I'm looking forward to seeing Lincoln Riley. No more Caleb Williams. He's got a new DC, so maybe they fix their defense. And on the same end there, no Jane Daniels for LSU and Brian Kelly. They're going to have a new quarterback. Both these teams going to have new quarterbacks. Two top-tier draft pick quarterbacks gone on these two new teams. Sunday night's going to be the only game on September the 1st, Labor Day weekend. I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be in Vegas, so it's a neutral site game, but I'm sure the fans, USC fans, the LSU fans, they're going to travel well. I'm really looking forward to this game from an offensive standpoint. There's part of me that hopes that neither team's offense got any better, or neither team's defense got any better, so that it's just like 35-40 at like the second quarter. Like, that would be great. That would be a whole lot of fun on a Sunday night. So that is basically what I'm looking forward to this week. A lot of great match. I mean, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games out of like 100, but 6 games in week 1 that are, I would say, must-see TV on all these. Like, these are all games that I will definitely be locked into and want to watch, because it really is a lot of top 25 matchups. I mean, Clemson, Georgia, that's a top 25 matchup. Notre Dame, Texas A&M, that's a top 25 matchup. USC, LSU, top 25 matchup. Like, good for college football and good for the networks to load up week 1 here with this new, era of college football, with a new playoff situation, a new conference realignment. They don't want to, step on a rake here first week here. If you want to, get people on board with the direction the sport is going, and I'm not totally on board, put this out here. Let's see what you do, because if this is a great week, could bode well for the future of college football. It could be, it could have been an overblown fear of what we might have been thinking was coming with college football. But even still, a lot of great games, and it's on all day. It's football. It's back. I mean, I couldn't be happier. And if none of those games suit your fancy, well, you got Navy Bucknell. You got Tennessee Chattanooga. That's a Iowa Illinois State. I mean, who could forget the Illinois State Redbirds? Redbirds. The heck kind of name? Why are they just the Cardinals? They're the Redbirds. Okay. Anyway, so college football week 1, week 0 was more entertaining than I thought, given the Florida State game. But other than that, I didn't really have much inclination. I didn't watch Montana State, New Mexico, at least not in any meaningful way. But week 1, it's loaded. I'm really looking forward to it. I can't wait. College football's back, baby. Here we go. Hi, it's me again. If you enjoyed what you just saw, hit the like and subscribe button. We do live shows every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Hope to see you there.